Hello everyone, my name is Angel and today we're planning for August. Couple of things before we begin. I will be going back to school this month, so I'm going to be preparing a timetable spread for my schedule for the first semester, and it is currently raining outside, so if you hear any noise, I apologize, that's the rain. So if you haven't set up your bullet journals yet for the month, grab your journal, pens and markers, and let's move on to the planning. So the first thing that I did was take a bunch of these Tombow dual brush pens and write down the word August in the assortment of colors that will be our main colors for the month. I know it's a lot of colors, but this cover page is inspired by the typography of a K-drama that I recently finished. It is called Startup, which revolves around So Dalmi, a woman who aims to become South Korea's Steve Jobs, but she doesn't have the right background and connections. So she decides to join a program that supports tech startups called Sandbox, which is like the Silicon Valley of South Korea. There, she launches her own company along with 4 other people, and they push the boundaries of technology by developing AI systems for a bunch of day-to-day functions. If you want to watch Startup, it is available on Netflix, and I highly recommend that you watch it, especially if you are in your 20s and you feel a little lost. To the left, we have this quote page where I am starting out by sketching guidelines to make sure that everything fits, because the last thing that we need is an equal spacing. Our quote for this month will hopefully encourage you to try things that are out of your comfort zone, whether it be applying for an executive position in your school's organization, or starting your own business, or maybe something simple like posting your own art for other people to see. The quote says, "Sail off without a map," which could lead to 2 things: either you get lost or you enjoy the journey. At the bottom, I am doing color blocks, which would be buildings afterwards. I'm not sure whether the reference photo that I am using is official art or fan art, but you can find it in my Pinterest board either way, linked in the description. I am using a total of 8 colors in this setup, so if you want to know the color codes of each and the rest of my supplies, you can find everything listed in the description box as well. Startup was released in 2020, and I've seen a bunch of people talking about it before, saying things like Dalmi made the wrong decision and Han Ji-pyong had nice dimples, but I didn't really get it. When I finished the series, I understood why everyone talked about the actor that played Han Ji-pyong's character, because his voice is very attractive. But I could understand why Dalmi made her decision that divided the show's audience based on how the story was written. For this month's calendar, I used this beige marker to divide each date, and I also colored in each box because I've been wanting to do that style, but I didn't have a light enough marker to pull it up aside from this one. I usually start my weeks on Sundays, which is why the top row is perfectly filled out and the bottom row had 3 outlier days. You can also see me zooming out the lens occasionally to capture more of the journal, so I apologize if that bothers you. I also apologize if you didn't notice it before I pointed it out. Drawing these triangles, the battery of my camera died, so you didn't see it entirely, but basically, I'm doing the triangles in the style of the Samsung Tech logo, which is one of the main companies in the series. It just jumps to me writing down the days of the week and then coloring in each date with a beige marker. If you look back at the triangles, you might notice the tip of the green triangle. There's white out underneath it because I realized later that it looked better when the triangle tips overlapped instead of the bottom of the triangles. If you've seen Startup, let me know which couple you ship. I think Dalmi and Dasan are a good match, and if you think otherwise, I would like to know why. Oh, and when I was watching the last episode, there was this guy that was looking for an investment and he looked really familiar. Turns out he was the guy from Hotel de Luna, which is another K-drama that I liked a lot. So if you're looking for an easy watch, I recommend that as well. Finishing this spread, I wrote down the word August again in the same style as in the cover page, and then I dotted little circles at the upper left corner of each box, and those will be where I will write down each date. The mood tracker makes a comeback this month because I can see myself in a spectrum of moods in August because the school year is starting again, which means a lot of things are bound to happen, so maybe my mood will not be black and white anymore. As I was drawing all of these shapes in different sizes, I thought about doing it in circles instead to represent the papers in which the people at Sandbox wrote down the reasons for launching a startup, but then I thought it was too late because I already have these triangles that I drew in. Anyway, I still liked how it turned out, but if you do decide to do this theme, maybe you could try out the circles. For the habit tracker, I decided to separate each habit into its own space by doing similar boxes as in the calendar with a beige marker. I actually made a mistake with the spacing because the bottom row was only 9 grids tall but the rest was 10, and I intended to have 10 tall boxes, so I had to disregard the guidelines that I had initially placed. You will see it clearer once I color in the boxes because for some reason the whiteout was repelling the ink. So I have a story. I was planning to do a very different theme this month. I had it all planned out and stuff, but then when I was trying to come up with spreads, I wasn't happy about what I was making. Plus, I didn't have the right shade of color that I wanted exactly, so I decided to put it on hold for a second and go with this instead. Surprisingly, I liked how the inspiration just flowed out as I was sketching, so I thought it would be okay to do this theme for now because this is what I like right now. Right now, I'm stamping on the calendar for each individual habit. I just traced the date portion and excluded the calendar shape because it would be too big to fit all 9 habits that I plan to track this month. After stamping on the calendars for each habit, I used washi tapes for the headers, and let me tell you, these might be one of my favorite purchases. I got a set of 60 plain washi tapes of different colors and I am so excited to use more of those. On to the next page, we have this circle in the middle where I'm writing down the title of the spread, which is Watch List. I like the watch list that I did for May, so I decided to bring it back so I can see which ones I want to watch for this month. Right next to it, we have the brain dump. I've seen a lot of bullet journal videos where people said they didn't like the term brain dump, so they used other terms to refer to it in their journals, but I'm sticking with this title because this is what I'm used to. Maybe someday when I get bothered by this term, I will change it. Now I am drawing the Samsung Tech logo for this semester's timetable. When they explained in startup how the name Samsung Tech came to be, I thought it was clever partly because I knew the Sino-Korea numbers. And when one of the guys was pitching a bunch of similar name suggestions, 3 Mountain Tech was one of them because Sam means 3 and San means mountain. This timetable is just a plain old schedule spread with the columns divided into 12-hour rows from Monday to Friday. I am using a circular template as a ruler because I once tried freehanding the lines and I didn't like it. This is to say you aren't required to be a master freehand person, and it is perfectly okay to use a straight edge to achieve clean lines in your bullet journal. Of course, if you want the hand-drawn look, you can always freehand your lines. On the page to the right, we have the first weekly spread. This is only a half-page spread because I won't have school yet by that time and I won't be needing a larger planning space. You can see me lining the right portion because I am so excited to try this out on my journal, but I will be doing tabs for this month so I can easily navigate through the weeks, so you can see me cutting through the line that I just drew and sticking a tape on the tab. However, I cut out more than I was supposed to. I got confused because I did 2 sets of tab guidelines beforehand and I might have used the wrong set, and now we have a shorter tab, but don't worry, that will be fixed. For now, I am cutting the tabs for the other pages, making sure that the tabs are the right size, and sticking the washi tapes on each tab. I first saw this tab system from Elizabeth from Plant-Based Bride and I've been wanting to try it ever since. I'm glad I did it for this month because I had 5 washi tapes that are almost the exact swatch on the markers I'm using, so they blended perfectly. I also opted to use washi tapes because saturating the tabs in ink might weaken them, and the fact that I will be grabbing them often this month when I flip through weeks might ruin them. We are almost done with the setup, so I am putting the final touches such as writing down the range of dates for each tab on either side, and I really liked how they turned out. I hope you do too. Now let's look at the final flip through. And that ends this month's Plan With Me. Let me know what you think about the theme, which is Startup, a Korean series about tech startups which you can watch on Netflix. Trust me, it is a very interesting show. So if you liked how I set up my bullet journal for the month of August, don't forget to click the thumbs up button and also subscribe to see more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!